Welcome to another episode of the Offer Mojo Show, where we talk about crafting, scaling, marketing, and selling aligned offers. Today, I have a very special guest with us. Her name is Valeria, and met Valeria through a women's networking group, and we scheduled a coffee chat as a result of that. And got to talking to Valeria. To me, I started off thinking, okay, Valeria, she's a brand strategist. That's great. Let me talk to her. But the more I talked to her, the more I realized, oh, she is so much more than a branding and marketing specialist. She has so much that she can add to the conversation that felt so aligned with the way I approach offers. And so what we're going to be talking about today is branding and marketing ourselves, our offers, but from a very internal standpoint, from like, what are the things that come up for us emotionally, spiritually, mentally, when we start marketing ourselves, crafting offers, doing all the things. It is an inside job. And Valeria is a really, really special person. And so I want to introduce you so that you know kind of her background and like the angle that we're going to take with today's episode. So Valeria Basso combines branding, coaching, hypnotherapy, and quantum human design to help female solopreneurs trust themselves, own their value, and find their way to business success. That's what I really love. Her clients have a big vision, but are uncomfortable with how they have been told they should market themselves and are set back by insecurities and thoughts of not being good enough. They are in a constant tug of war between their intuition and their logical mind. With a gentle but inquisitive approach that balances strategy and healing, Valeria helps them access their soul level perspective on their purpose, claim their voice, and clear their inner conflicts so they can build a business that works for them, gives them joy, and honors what they are here to do and they are here to contribute to the world. So welcome so much, Valeria, for being on the show. Oh my gosh, I could just like start going off like on a tangent like right now because that just so speaks to me. But I want to start by letting listeners understand like your story. How did you come to start blending like the healing and the human design into like branding and marketing?
Yeah. So, well, my background is I have been in marketing for over 20 years. That's the
Okay.
career that I took straight out of college, thinking that it was the thing for me. And as I progressed through my career, I realized that I really did not like marketing at all.
Oh,
It would not
interesting.
excite me to the
Okay.
point that I would do workshop and started introducing myself as the marketer who hates marketing, which, as
Okay.
marketer would say, is a very good catchphrase, right?
Yes,
Very good
absolutely.
icebreaker, so very effective. But at some point, I have to say, listen to what you're saying. You
Hmm.
don't like this. There were a
Right.
lot of things about marketing that just didn't make sense for me, that didn't feel right for me, but I continued on. And then, kind of organically, I guess, as I started working with people, I realized what I really love is to listen to their story, what they're passionate about, what fuels their fire, and
Hmm.
what's unique about them, and help them
Hmm.
alchemize that into the way they do business. That's
Right.
what I love doing. And then I had clients tell me, I was helping them, especially with their branding strategy. And they would always tell me, oh, this was so not what I expected, but it was much
Okay.
more. Or they would call me like a brand therapist. And
Oh, interesting.
I didn't even know that I was doing it, but I guess my approach organically was more like, okay, yes, we're creating your brand, but I always thought as you create your brand, you heal because you it's a process of coming into your own. And so
Hmm.
the stuff that is blocking you is going to come up. And if we don't confront it, it doesn't matter what we do on the strategy side,
Exactly.
it's not going to work. right?
Right.
You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
implement it. And so then through my own detours in life, I came to, I encountered hypnotherapy, and then I brought it into the work, and I realized, hey, I can combine it with branding because I'm kind of already doing some of that. This is an additional tool. And same
Right.
thing with human design. Human design gave me an additional tool to help people really find their way to
Yes.
success, their way to do business, because that's always been my thing. I've always been allergic to those that say there is one way to do things, or there is a
Yes.
set of blueprints and you have to do it because those are the proven blueprints, and who are
Right.
you to do it differently, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's always kind of pissed me off. And so when I encounter quantum human design, that really tells us there are as many ways to success, happiness, health, and well being as there are people in the world. I was like,
Yes.
okay, this is another tool I want
Mm-hmm. Very
in my
cool.
set to help people. So,
Yeah. And, you know, I can speak very, like, I guess very truthfully about that because I'm very much, I don't like study like human design, like on your level for sure. Like, I could never like work with someone on their offers using human design because
mm-hmm,
it's all so complicated for me. However, I did work through it was a custom GPT that mapped out a 7-figure blueprint based on my human design. Well, I'm always
mm-hmm,
so curious about these things. I'm very like kind of spiritual in that way. And so I was like, ooh, let me see what this is all about, right? And I worked through it. I was blown away, like literally like blown away at like how much it matched like me.
mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't about like you said, like these proven marketing strategies or these tactics. No, like literally leaned into who I was as a human being
Mm-hmm.
and crafted something based on that. And I was just
Yes.
like, it's like, wow, now I understand like my brilliance. Now I understand like what makes me different. I understand that I'm a very soulful marketer. It was like very, very eye opening. So I can tell you without a doubt, there is huge benefits to understanding your branding and marketing strategy based on your human design.
Yeah.
So that I can tell you. So there's a pitch for you, Valeria. Go to Valeria, have her work out your branding and marketing strategy through human design because it will make a huge, huge difference. So let's talk. I guess as you know, marketing and branding is so saturated. And there are so many people out there, so many experts telling you, like you said, this is the way you should do it. This is, this is what works. This is all of that kind of stuff. What are you finding, like, as you work with like female solopreneurs, like, what are you finding are like their biggest struggles with like marketing themselves in today's space?
Yeah. So first of all, I think because I am a reformed or renegade marketer myself, I think I
Okay.
naturally attract female solopreneurs who come to me and say, I don't understand marketing. I don't like it. It makes me feel icky. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, they usually say, I don't like the pushiness of it, the aggressiveness, the language, the systems, all of it. And so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is usually that's their approach to say, I want to do things my way, but I don't know how, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there is something, they sense that there is a different way for them
Sure.
to
Right.
put themselves out there. But their logical mind goes, yes, but who am I to say this? Where all these experts are telling me these and that, right? Where the
Right.
whole business world is saying I have to do this way, right?
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
then there is, combined with that, there is fear of putting themselves out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because especially when you're solopreneurs, you're putting your heart and soul
Yeah.
out there, like you said, your whole who you are as a human being, right?
Yes.
So there's fear of rejection that comes up. Who am I to do this, to offer this, to help people this way, right? There's fear
Right.
of not feeling seen or heard or understood. Then there's lack of clarity that usually is always present, because it's
Yes.
they don't really know how they want to, what they want and how they want to talk about what they love in the world,
Right.
right? And oftentimes they don't even know exactly who they're talking to, who their right
Right.
audience is. So there's
Right.
usually a component like that. So all of these combined create an incredible confusion in their mind and block,
Right.
right? Because there is this tug of war. It's like, I feel like I want to do things my way, but I don't know how to do it. And then
Right.
because of that, they go out there and start listening to these and that, start following these and that, start copying what others do. And then they feel imposter syndrome. Why? Because they're not following their own inner voice.
Right.
They're not putting themselves out there. They're
Right.
putting a copy of someone else out there.
Yes.
And so what happens is they beat themselves down even more and say, well, who am I to do this? I don't have anything to offer. So it's kind of a loop that they're caught in. By the time they come to me, they've been over and over this.
Yes. It reminds me so much even of the offer strategy piece. And I'm like you, I tend to attract a lot of heart-centered, like soulful, purpose-driven entrepreneurs, men and women, but they're always very different. They're spiritual. They're very, connected on a soul level. They're really all about like holistic like strategies, mind, body, soul. And it reminds me of like one of my clients now who is very much in mind, body, soul. And there's just so much that comes up during that process of offer strategy. But what about this? And what about that? But I don't want to sound this way and I don't want to that. And, and it's important, I think, to really integrate the person's whole being. Like to me, it's like, that's the first thing that I ask is, how do you feel about that offer? How do you feel? Like what do you feel inside?
Yeah.
And it's, sometimes I'll get like, I don't know, I'm just not excited about it. I just feel disconnected from it. Or I just, and they have this longing. I want to create something. I want to create a brand and an offer that's soulful, that combines all of who I am.
Yeah.
That meets people on a very transformational level, right? And there's not a lot of people out here like doing that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that we're both kind of like attracting like those same kinds of people. One of the questions.
There's also another piece that's not talked about often.
Okay.
And human design tells us this. And also because I do hypnosis, so I get to witness the messages that my clients get from their higher selves, right? Their higher perspective on their lives and what they're doing, their purpose. And that also is tells us the same thing. So we're at a juncture where we are being asked to find new ways of doing business.
Sure.
That are more inclusive, more heart-centered.
Yes.
There's less about competition and more about collaboration, more about creating opportunities and resources for everybody, right?
Yes.
And so I feel that a lot of these entrepreneurs that are soulful, that are heart-oriented, they sense that and they're here to help usher in this new way of doing business. But we're all still trying to figure it out. And we're all still having to operate within the old framework.
Right.
And so that creates terrible confusion and struggle because we know, no, this doesn't work anymore, but I don't have any proof of what that what I'm sensing is actually the way to go.
Yes, that is so, so true. And I agree with you because there are a lot of people out there that are starting to, like, I feel like alignment is like the new buzzword of 2025. Like last year, it seemed to be authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone was talking about like authenticity. Now, like everywhere I go, I see people talking about alignment. That doesn't feel aligned, or I want an aligned business or aligned. It's just like, okay, there is definitely a shift happening. Authenticity was part of it last year. Alignment now is a big piece of it. We are moving into a more conscious, I think, way of doing business, a more heart centered way of doing business, a more, I think, way more service minded. It's like skipping, like everyone is tired of like what you call the bro marketing, right? That marketing of the pushy, the pushy salespeople, that hustle and grind culture, that bro marketing of like, this is, put the fear of God in them, make them, think their life is going to fall apart if they don't buy your offer, right? Like,
Yeah.
no, no.
Yeah. But the messages are like in different words. But the messages that my clients get when they access that higher perspective is basically always, we're being asked to throw everything we know out the window
Mm-hmm.
and chart our new course.
Sure.
And
Mm-hmm.
so obviously we're going without a map in a sense. We do have a
Right.
map, but it feels like we're going without a map.
Right.
So
Right.
it's very, very disoriented. And that's
Yes.
why the biggest component is learning to trust ourselves.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about that. So when we are crafting offers, crafting a brand strategy, building a business that's aligned with who we are, inevitably, what comes up is all kinds of internal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you said is that branding is a journey at the intersection of strategy and healing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk deeper about that. What is that like? What does that mean to you? And I mean, I could share my own examples, but this is your statement. So,
Yeah. So, well, first of all, the way I always explain it is the biggest influence on your reality is your inner world.
mm-hmm,
Your
mm-hmm,
inner world creates what you attract in your life, and it's almost
sure,
like a signal that you put out into the world, right?
right,
So
mm-hmm,
you need to become familiar with your inner world, and it's not just about mindset, it goes deeper than that.
yes,
What is the resistance that you feel about certain things, the fears, the wounds? We need to explore those and we need to
right,
clear them, right? Because
mm-hmm,
again, like I said at the beginning, otherwise they will come up.
right,
Doesn't matter what strategy you use. I always think there are so many strategy and tactics out there, and yet people are
right,
still confused and blocked, right? And the
yes,
thing
mm-hmm,
is, all of the strategies can work and none of them works.
right,
The difference
yes,
is you
right, mm-hmm,
and what's right for you. But in order
mm-hmm,
to do that, I find a lot of people, in order to find that trust in yourself, in order to know exactly what's right for you, you have to clear those insecurities, the inner doubts, the inner conflict. So that components needs to come first. Then
mm-hmm,
we can talk about strategy and find the right strategies for you.
right,
But you
right,
have to have that piece, because I'm not here to tell them what to do. I'm here to help them realize you have all the answers inside yourself.
mm-hmm,
I'm
yeah,
just here to help you pull them out, get confidence in yourself, even if the entire world around you tells you, no, you're wrong. You
mm-hmm,
got to stay strong, right?
right,
And that's it. And then the strategy comes after.
yes, 100%. I can just speak very honestly about this. I would say two-ish, a little bit 2 years ago, my intuition was whispering to me and I was ignoring it. I mean, it kept saying to me, Lori, you need to specialize. You need to specialize. You need to specialize. Well, I didn't know exactly like what that meant. And I also knew that it meant I would have to make some really scary decisions. And so I ignored it for a really long time until it finally started screaming at me. You need to specialize. You need to specialize. That was the message I was getting. And I didn't know what that meant. Like what specialize into what? Like what is, what is my lane going to be, right? Um and I will tell you that once all of that stuff that came up, like once I like made that decision, like energetically inside, everything shifted. Like when I like leaned away from kind of just being the one-stop shop, you know what I mean, for everyone, like just doing the branding, the marketing, the website development, the content management, the back end operations. I was just like, oh, look at me, I can do everything for you. That makes me more valuable. Well, that's baloney. Because I definitely wasn't feeling more valuable on the inside. I was living this reality and these stories inside myself that if I become the one-stop shop for all my clients, that will make me more valuable. That will make my business grow faster. That will like do all of these things that are just complete baloney. And so oftentimes when that little voice, that wise voice inside of me was coming up and telling me to specialize, I was like, no, 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 no. Then I won't be valuable. I won't be valuable anymore. Right. There's just so much internal stuff. But once I literally like resolved within myself and like, I literally had a breakdown to get to the breakthrough. Like energetically, everything shifted for me. Once I specialized into offer strategy, the world opened up. It was absolutely amazing. Like I literally had like 6 speaking engagements like in 4 weeks from people I had never even heard of. Like writing my content became like so easy. It was just like it just flowed out of me. Like prospects started showing up, like asking questions about struggling with their offers. I'm like, where is all this coming from? And it came from like that energetic shift inside me. But I will tell you this, that it was like when I made that shift, I knew for you to have the growth and the happiness and the fulfillment that you want in your business, you've got to go back into the old stories. Like I've been on a personal growth journey since I was 21. I can't tell you how many therapists I've had in my life, right? So it's not like personal growth is like new to me, but I knew I needed to go even deeper, like just even deeper into like parts of me that I was just trying to ignore.
Yeah.
That inevitably, because I knew my intuition again was saying something's blocking you internally.
Yeah.
Your success is being blocked by you, Lori.
Yeah.
Not by your strategies, because you know all the darn marketing strategies under the book. Like I've been in this space for years. And so that's when I knew it's you, Lori. It's
Yeah.
you. You're the one that needs to change.
Yeah. And it's
So,
funny that you told that story, because for me it's the opposite. So
okay.
because I had the background in marketing,
Right.
I always thought, okay, I need to pick a lane. I've always had a gazillion interests. And
Mm-hmm.
as I was learning new methodologies, new things, I was like, I want to do this and this and this and that, right? But I thought, well, I need to pick a lane and stick with it. I need to be one thing, right? Because they tell you got to be known for that one thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Every
I mean, I
time.
feel a little differently about that, but go ahead. Anyway.
That's the way that I was kind of raised in the marketing world.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
That you have to pick a niche, right?
Yeah. And every time I would pick a lane, the joy would just go out the window for me.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
feel so constricted. So
Okay.
my intuition, instead, my whole body was telling me, No, you need to go with the flow. You need to. So the message from me was, you have all this knowledge and you have to continue to like expand in different directions,
Mm-hmm.
but then be very sure in what you have to offer so that whenever is in front of you, you can adapt to what they need and meet
Mm-hmm.
them where they're at with all the tools that you have.
Right.
And that's always been the case, honestly. Even when I was doing marketing, it's funny because I would have certain specific lanes that I wanted to be in. And then there will come that person say, I need something completely different. So I would have to throw out my blueprints and my frameworks out the window and
Okay.
just go with what they needed. And
Okay.
my
Mm-hmm.
best clients were always like that. They were the ones who come in and say, I don't even know what you offer. I just need this. Can you help me?
Okay.
And I would have to just go with the flow of it. But my mind was like, okay, but those are just instances. You need to build your framework and have your lane and
Mm-hmm.
stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I would try that, it would just not work. So I was like, okay, I have to accept that I'm going to be in a constant state of flux with what I
Mm-hmm.
offer, with what I have my tools, and I know what I can do for people. But then it's
Mm-hmm.
about listening. This is what they need, and just, kind of customize.
Adapting.
Yes.
Adapting. I love it. Like, I still feel like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I still feel like you somewhat have a unique lane. I feel like it's like the branding and the marketing mixed with the healing is what gives you your unique lane. It's what helps you be who you are, but not give up all of the tools that you believe in. I
Yeah.
could be wrong. Like, do you do more than like branding and marketing and healing, or do you like
No, it's
when you
mostly
say
focused on
whatever
that.
someone needs?
Well, in the sense that sometimes there are people who come to me and they don't need the branding, they just need the healing.
Right.
And so I just go with that. Or some
Okay.
people
Okay.
need more of just the branding and not the healing. But it's funny, I think last year, 2 years ago, I was in these course in this group, and they were forcing me to create a framework, like a
Ah.
repeatable, scalable framework.
Mm-hmm.
And so I spent hours creating these frameworks. And then every time the right clients come in, I was like, throw the framework out the window. Like everybody says, you need to have that and you need to be known for that. And it's like, my framework is so loose.
Right.
You shouldn't even mention that it's a framework. It's more like I have these different tools. But then I think my key is the ability to, whoever is in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
pick up on what they need,
Mm.
listen, and just go with that. Because honestly, it's really all about, I'm a mirror reflecting back to them what they need so that they can see it, and then
Right.
helping them find their own answer. So
Right.
once I sort of started accepting that, it I don't know, I relaxed a little bit more instead of the pressure, again, the outside pressure. Yeah, but you have to do it this way because
Mm-hmm.
that's not
Right.
going to work.
Yeah. So you like, so for you, like niching into a lane, into a specific audience, or into like a specific specialty, to you it's like no, no, not going to work for me. Let's talk about here's the thing. There's a lot of multi-passionate entrepreneurs out there that feel the same way, that feel very restricted by a niche. What do you tell them um, when it comes to when marketing 101, says like to find a niche so that you know who you're talking to, so your messaging is clear, so blah, 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 right? What do you tell them is the alternative to niching and still growing your business?
So first of all, yes, there are more and more people like that, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if I attract them or or
Probably
just
because you
it's
are, right?
becoming more like that. First of all, to me, it's like, okay, if you have different passions, different interests, different talents, they're there for a reason. Honor
Mm-hmm.
them, trust them. It means that you're meant to express yourself that way, and it
Okay.
might come in ebbs and flows. Then that's where the healing part would be come to accept that and
Right.
see yourself for all the gifts that you have
Mm-hmm.
and be
Mm-hmm.
okay with that, right? Because
Right. Mm-hmm.
we manage to beat ourselves down even for that, right? We
Right.
have too
Mm-hmm.
many talents.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then
Agreed.
the strategy component comes in looking at, is there a common thread between
Mm.
all these passion? Is there something that we can craft some sort of an umbrella message? And maybe it's the audience, maybe it's there's something. So usually it's found in their story. Like you said, for me, my story is whether I like it or not, I have the background in marketing. And I
Right.
had a unique journey through marketing
Sure. Mm-hmm.
that went through hate and self-loathing and then the healing and then so yes, organically let's use that story and see where it leads us, because I
Mm-hmm.
always say,
Mm-hmm.
even in terms of your audience, it's not about what is the most strategic audience for me to target. No, it's like, let's look at your backstory, and from
Mm-hmm.
there you'll see that the people you're meant to serve emerge. It's clear, it's written there, you're here to serve those kinds of people.
Right. Right.
So let's find the thread, which could be hidden in different spots, but see what the thread is and see if we can create sort of an umbrella message. That's the strategy part of it,
Okay.
when you don't want a
So,
niche.
do you have like an example, I guess, of that you could share um, regarding maybe a client or something that was multi-passionate, had all kinds of different like areas or passions or expertise that she was good at, and like how you helped them find that umbrella message or that thread that weaves like throughout their story?
uh Usually there's not like a dramatic there. It's mostly people, for example, that they get confused because they're skilled in many different methodologies,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
again they know that they can help people in different situations, and they don't want to
Right.
give that up because again there's this desire to serve, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost about, okay, the methodologies are just that. Let's look at, what do all your ideal clients have in common, the people that you've really enjoyed working with. For
Mm-hmm.
example,
Mm-hmm.
I had a recent
Mm-hmm.
client like that. Who are they? What do they come to you with? What's the thread? It's always about, let's see if there's a thread. Obviously, if
Right.
somebody tells me I'm a realtor and then I also do I don't know, Reiki healing,
Right.
okay, most likely there's no thread, and I would say let's keep the two separate. Or maybe there is. You never know.
Right.
It's sort of
Right.
like putting a puzzle together, but it's what is the theme, and it goes back to also, one thing I do is helping them see what is your point of view that
Mm-hmm.
shapes who you are in business, how you do business, because that can tell us a lot. And I have a technique that's I help them create what I call a brand manifesto, which is
Okay.
a series of statements
Mm-hmm.
that really speak to their philosophy around what they do, that's been
Sure.
shaped by their backstory, their experiences, and all of that. And usually that helps us create that common thread. It's like, this is who I am, this is what I'm about.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can use this in different contexts,
Got
depending on
it.
who my audience is, right? So,
Yes. That makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. It's kind of like what makes you like unique. I mean, when I listen to your story, like, the common threads that I keep seeing is like this, aversion to the traditional, marketing advice. Like, that's part of your story. It's like, even though you were in marketing, like, you hated marketing. Like your body and your soul just does not align with what you were taught about marketing. And so you've developed a brand new set of beliefs around like what marketing actually means, right?
Yes.
And what marketing, something, a different perspective, or what we call thought leadership around what marketing is,
And also,
right?
yes, and the benefit of that is that when you look back at a person's story, their experience, how they came to do what they do, there could be 100 different people using the exact same tools in the exact same space, but
Mm-hmm.
they all do it differently because of how
Yes.
they came to it. Once you learn to really leverage that, then you cannot have imposter syndrome because it's you. It's like your story. It's like that's and also there's a component. Some people still don't trust it, but then that's when the hypnosis, for example, come into place where they see there's a whole beautiful design at play in your life to lead you where you are now with your set of experiences, pains, and gifts so that you can
Right.
help others, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so there's no need to look outside and copy what others are doing because every time you do that, you're going to dilute yourself. And
Yes.
that's one thing that I notice most entrepreneurs, they don't really use when I look at how they present themselves, they don't really use the real gold, the real treasure, uniqueness that's in them. And sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
because they don't see it,
Mm-hmm. Yes,
or
that's
they
true.
see it but they don't think it's valuable because it comes so natural to them that
Yes.
they think everybody can do it, which is not true.
Yes.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I had a client recently, she is so good at relating to highly sensitive people for whom
Okay.
the
Okay.
world is too much because she is like that. She's had that
Mm-hmm.
experience and she's learned the flip side of that sensitivity, like that can turn into a power. And it's like
Right.
she was talking to me about that in a way that I've never heard other people
Mm.
talk about. And I said, you can really relate to highly sensitive people. That's your nugget of gold
Yes.
because of your
Yes.
lived experience. So let's see how to use it if it feels right for you. And then at some point she
Mm-hmm.
said, yes, but I don't want to push it too far because when I work with some very, very highly sensitive people, she gave me a list of their kind of attributes. And she said, they're
Mm-hmm.
fine. But then for her, it becomes very draining. So I said, okay,
Ah.
okay, then let's
Okay.
find the middle road, right?
Right.
So that we can
Mm-hmm.
still use what's so unique about you, but creating a way forward that doesn't drain you, because that's also important, right? So that's the way that
100%.
we work. Like it's like putting a puzzle together.
Right. Yes. That's, I love what you say about like people don't always like see their uniqueness, their genius, their brilliance. For a really long time. And it's just been recently that I've realized that my brain is really wired differently than
Mhm.
people. I have like this really unique balance between masculine and feminine energies.
Mm.
So it's like half my brain is really creative, like highly creative and, feminine. And then another half of my brain is very systematic and driven and whatever. And it's like, I can tell you from the time I was a teenager, I've felt like a weirdo. Like I'm just like, I don't know, I've just felt like something's just wrong with me because of the way. And I'm a highly sensitive person, so I'm very intuitive. Like, and I'm very like tuned into sensitivities, to emotions, to all this. So I've got all this stuff like going on in my brain that historically I was like, oh my God, Laura, you're so weird. Like, nobody is going to relate to you. You're part creative, part like systematic. You're totally emotional. Like, who are you? But it's just been recently, and that human design thing that I did really helped me understand, oh my God, Lori, this is what makes you brilliant. This is what makes you you. And no, not everyone is going to understand me. They're not going to understand the way my brain operates. Maybe I'm neurodiverse, maybe I'm not. I have no idea. But it's helping me now to say, okay, this is my genius. This is the way I am. This is the way I was wired. And it honestly, for offer creation, it works really, really well.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
Because like offer creation, there is a fair amount of creativity that has to go into it, but there is a lot of structure and
Systems.
systems that go into that as
Yeah.
well. So
It's funny what you said, because I would never do this because I never want to start a conversation with the negative. But it's almost like you could ask somebody, tell me what you think is wrong with you, because then we'll get straight to what you're here to contribute.
right,
Because what
right.
you think is wrong with you is what's hiding exactly your uniqueness, your
Yes.
your biggest gift.
Yes. That is what that's one of the things that I say when I talk about like your content and your messaging. I'm always saying let your freak flag like fly. like you know what I mean? It's just like be yourself. But what we talked about in the beginning, which is this healing piece, right? And the stuff that comes up. Let's talk about, I guess, a little bit about like when we start to think about like sharing our thought leadership, that
Mhm.
unique edge that we have, that really truly letting our personality like come out and show people who we are, being able to talk openly about our beliefs. What's the stuff that like comes up as a result of that you see?
The stuff that comes up is, no, that's, I can't do that. I will be seen as a weirdo, or
Mm-hmm.
I will be rejected. I won't be understood, or who am I to talk about this, and all that stuff.
Right.
And what I learned through, doing the healing part of the work is always, whatever comes up, it's there just because we need to notice that's not who we are. Those
Mm-hmm.
fears, those doubts are not who
Mm-hmm.
we are. They're just there because there's something that we need to clear. Let's clear it.
Right. Right.
It's a beautiful mechanism that
Mm-hmm.
alerts us to, okay, this is what we need to clear out of the way in order to keep moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And there's so much stuff. Like I've done so much work on that this year. But I think one of the things that you said that I really, really liked is when you really discover who you are and what makes you unique, and you accept that like wholeheartedly, there's not like that imposter syndrome, like just like goes away.
Yeah.
Like I have found that like myself, like I mean I still sometimes struggle with it, but then I ask myself it, and it's usually because I'm not accepting some part of myself that I have deemed weird, or somebody in my life,
Mm-hmm.
has deemed weird or not acceptable. I've been judged, right, for a certain way of being. Like I've been judged my entire life for being sensitive. I can remember it being 5 years old and being told, "You're too sensitive, Lori. You're too sensitive." And it's like, so when you start to be sensitive, you start thinking, oh my God, like I'm being sensitive. But when you say, damn right, I'm very sensitive. Yes, I'm very sensitive. And that's what makes me a really empathetic person. That's what makes me very emotionally intelligent and tuned in to other people, because I'm sensitive. So I have to accept that part of me. And I think we feel that imposter syndrome when we're out of alignment and when we're not truly embracing like who we are.
Yeah. And
What do you
every
think?
part of who we are is there for a reason.
Yes.
That's like when my clients are in hypnosis, they finally see that. It's like, oh my God, I see the beautiful reason why I am like this.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to like add to this conversation? that you feel like we haven't like talked about?
Hmm. Well, I think because we talked about, a lot about the healing, and one strategy piece is that I always tell people is, especially the ones that don't want a niche, it's okay not
Mm-hmm.
to niche, but you still have to be specific. Like, you can't be vague. I think it's one of the things that I see people, besides not valuing their real gifts,
Mm-hmm.
it's they're very vague with the way they talk about what they do. And it's so
Yes.
easy also to fall in the trap of using the buzzwords, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
everybody
Mm-hmm.
was talking about being authentic, I did
Mm-hmm.
not want to hear that. And that's one of the beef that I have with AI, is because AI feeds on the buzzwords, right? You give it,
Yes.
like, I used it for a week, and you have no idea how many times damn AI started something with the word unlock.
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 Okay.
Everybody's using now the word unlock. And I had to say, do not use the word unlock with me.
Right.
There
Exactly.
are some, and these happens also when we look outside too much. Then
Yeah.
subconsciously we start talking like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yes.
always say to people, just cut out the noise, listen to yourself, but also don't be vague. Don't use those. And the vagueness comes also sometimes with um, the problem that a lot of entrepreneurs have on creating their message is they talk at their level of awareness of the problem. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
they're the experts. So
Right.
they are already at the level of awareness at the end of the journey.
Sure.
But they have to come back and speak to the level of awareness that their clients have at the
Mm.
beginning of the journey. I see
Right.
that happen 99.9% of the time, especially with healers or coaches. Is that
Yes.
I always ask, okay, but think back, your ideal client, when you started working with them, would they have understood what you just told me about what you do and what
Right.
you, and the
Mm-hmm.
answer is always no.
Yes.
They would not understand certain concepts because it's through the process of working with you that they get there. But at the
Yes.
beginning, their level of awareness is different. And so that's part of
True.
the strategy work that I do
Mm-hmm.
with them, to help them, okay, let's use a language that they can understand. So you will meet them where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
by working with you, you will get them where you know they need to get.
Yes. Yes. And I think the other thing that I hear too is when you talk about vagueness, I hear like these, especially in the healing space, like fluffy promises that have you saying, but exactly what does that mean? Like, I'll help you live your best life. Or, we will heal you from the inside out. Okay, what does that mean exactly? Right. And it's not like people are showing up like our audience and saying, I just want to live my best life. Or I
Mm-hmm.
just want to heal from the inside out. Or I just want to be empowered to, like, they're not using that kind of language.
Right.
They're talking like very intimately about, I'm tired of fighting with my husband,
Yeah.
or or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, I'm sick and my teenagers are driving me nuts. Like, I don't know how to set boundaries with them, and they're running all over me. Like, that's the kind of language that they're
Yeah.
using.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus finally have a peaceful relationship with your child. Like, okay, but that's not what they're talking about.
Well, and that's the problem that happens when you are not niching, because you're casting a broader net. And so people feel like, well, if I talk about one thing in specific, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting myself into a lane.
Into
And
a
then I
lane.
say,
Got
well,
it.
okay, let's learn to layer the message. You can start with the umbrella, but
Mm-hmm.
then tell stories that are relatable. Tell me what
Right.
it's like, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
the work that we do. We mine for this kind of information and see how they can use it in their brand, in their message, the way that feels right for them.
Right.
right? But too vague, yes, especially with the healing community. It's like people don't get this stuff. You've been bathed in this stuff for so long that then it becomes second nature. But I had a client like that. She kept saying, I help people reconnect with their authentic self. And I said,
Right.
okay, but your best clients that you really enjoyed working with, was it talking about that at the beginning? No, they didn't even know what that meant.
Right.
Like you said,
And
they
they probably
wanted
don't
a
even know
better
what.
relationship, or they wanted to find a place where they could feel at peace with themselves in
Right.
the world, or find a better job, and
Right.
then
They don't know necessarily even what their most authentic self is. That's part of the work
well, that's the thing.
that we
That's
do.
why they're so disconnected.
Right.
But they
Yeah.
get it at the end of the road. So we
Sure.
always need to bring it back to, that's what I always say, meet the client where they're at.
Yes. Yes. Well, this was amazing. Let me let everybody know, like, if you have interest in branding and marketing that we just talked about here, which is a little bit different than maybe what you've heard in the marketplace, and you want to do that deeper work, please, please, please reach out to Valeria. Her website is www, how do you say this? Symphonicval.com?
Symphonic Val, like symphony, right?
Uh-huh.
Symphonic
Okay.
Val, VAL.com.
Right. Okay. So do most people call you Val?
Val
Valeria.
V, sometimes they get the accent wrong because, Americans tend to put the accent in Valeria instead of Valeria. I don't care. It's just
Okay. Just go to her website, symphonicval.com. And yeah, this has been amazing, Valeria. I really appreciate our time together.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Okay.